Hey guys, Steve Jensen, Dr. J from the National Sales Academy and Impact Training. And for all of our members in the Sales Authority Club, as you know, we're doing the SAC Success Seat. And today I'm really excited to have our guest on. It's one of our members, been in SAC for a little while now. And I must say the results that this man has actually produced in quite a meteorical rise in his career has been outstanding. Let me just introduce to you Justin Bigornia. He is a manager of a core health club in Victoria, in lockdown at the moment, mind you. So we've got him so we can have a little bit of a chin wag. And this young man has been outstanding of his implementation, his can-do, asking great questions, but actually just doing all that stuff is irrelevant unless you get a result. And we're going to hear a bit of a story about Justin. And when you hear some of the stuff, and a lot of the guys in the Sales Authority Club are in the fitness industry, reach out, have a chat, share. Because we're going to be sharing lots of good stuff today. And this young man has had significant success. So welcome, Justin. Thanks for joining me today.
No worries. Glad to be here, Steve.
All right, mate. Well, look, always love to start off how you got involved in sales. And you've been in the industry for, 6 years or so. But how did you get involved in that process of sales and now becoming a leader of a club?
Yeah, so I initially started as a personal trainer about 6 years ago, in which I was working with about 20 clients a week. So I was always kind of doing sales, but I think it kind of took its course when I started at core health clubs. So it was a lot more in detail, especially with starting at the Sales Authority Club as well. There was a lot more that I learned in terms of sales and a lot more of the softer skills that I've taken on board as well.
And what's your role now?
So I'm currently a manager of a health club at Mornington.
Is that a large club, a small club?
It's quite a large club, that's for sure.
I know. Tell the guys how big it is, how many members you got, that sort of stuff, because they get a little bit of a picture in their mind.
Yeah, we got about 2,000 members.
So that's a lot of people. And
definitely.
You've got a fair few staff members and team members?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Definitely have a fair few and a few departments in the club as well. So yeah.
Terrific. And why did you go from personal training, because it's really that's a sales and marketing and service business, into going into a large organization? Core is one of the leading clubs in Victoria. Why did you want to go into that role?
I just wanted to broaden my horizons and understand things from a different perspective rather than just the training people side of things as well. So I wanted to understand everything that goes along with the fitness industry and not just have the knowledge of training people, but also having the knowledge of what goes on behind the doors as well. So that's pretty much why I got into that role.
Look, it's very wise, guys. Listen to what Justin's saying here. He did something he's passionate about, but he said, well, what's next? What's more? So he can train anybody professional. But he said, well, how can I become more valuable to Justin and also to a company? So getting involved in sales. And it's interesting when you are able to go to any business and say, I can help your business make more money, makes you more valuable and very employable. And if you want to run your own business, you can. So for a little while now, we've been working together for a bit now. You've joined the Sales Authority Club with the team at Core. So what was one of the reasons that you were excited about joining the SAC, and what was a couple of the problems or challenges you were going to hope to get fixed, or being taught how to do, or get a strategy or two on what to do?
Okay, so got excited about learning more of the soft skill sides of things. So more of things like using your hands and using 3Fs and things like that as well was definitely great insights for myself as well. So developing the soft skills was something I really wanted to work on myself and something that I wanted to pass on to my team as well. So that was the main thing that really excited me about working in the SAC.
Well, you certainly hit a big rock here, because soft skills are usually learned after the hard skills. Once we get the process in place, it's then the delivery, isn't it? And you can have the best process, but if you can't deliver it, whether it's with sales or in leadership, it makes a massive difference. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it sometimes. As you said, your hands are a big deal. We did a bit of a training in that a little while ago. So let's put it into practice. What are 3 parts of the Sales Authority Club that you find has impacted you professionally or personally? In other words, what's your favorite part?
I I think the quarterlies are a very good one because it gets that community sense as well going, and you get to meet people and network through other professionals, potentially in your field or in a different field as well. So you have a perspective that's a bit more broad than just the fitness industry, and you can get some ideas from other industries as well. So the quarterly is something that I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to the next one. That's for sure.
25th, isn't it? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. What's another one?
Another one, the implementation program. It's definitely a good one to, as you would say, sharpen your axe and keep those skills intact, especially during a lockdown period where we don't get to practice as much as we would have. It's a good way to keep those skills sharp for when we return.
Yeah, look, sometimes it's easy to sort of slip away, isn't it? When you learn something, we just say, I know it. But then if we go back and do a little bit of implementation, that does make a difference. And you can just say, oh, gee whiz, I forgot that every now and then. And I must say, guys, this young man is very proficient at what he does, but he never short in saying, what's your idea on this? Or have you got an extra strategy? So adds to his repertoire. But the good thing about what Justin does, he makes it his own. I can give him a strategy and we can do a bit of practice, but then he makes it his own and then imparts it onto his team. And he excels at this. And it's something I've been incredibly impressed. And no wonder he's had a meteorical rise in what he does. So if you could pick out one last thing that you like about the Sales Authority Club, what's that?
The fact that we get checked in on every week, to be honest. For that one there, I've always had curiosities or things that I've been wanting to ask Steve about that might help me with my journey as well. So I'm really thankful for those ones, that's for sure.
Well, it's really great the way you make yourself available. Again, this guy actually is, when he says he's available, he's always there. And one of the major things of success is that you say you're going to do something, but you turn up, and Justin is always there and always says, oh, well, could you zip that off to me? But the great thing about it is when we talk next time, he says, oh, this is what I did. It's great leadership qualities, and I'm sure you're inspiring a lot of other people to maybe emulate what you're doing. So congratulations. It's actually been a delight working with you, mate. It's been great.
Thank you.
Now, skills. You talked about soft skills and hard skills. Now, the quarterly, as we know, we're going to be doing overcoming or reducing and overcoming objections. It's a hard skill. You've touched on soft skills. Now, soft skills is the delivery of some of the nuances of some of the questions. Now, I like to try to pinpoint a couple of skills or a strategy that you found that have been most helpful for you, or what you've imparted to your team that you've learned in the SAC.
All right. So the one that I've used the most after joining the SAC would be the 3 Fs, or the feel, felt, found. I've found that strategy has helped significantly in terms of building rapport with the people that we're trying to join, and also finding those points in commonality before moving forward. So taking that time to establish the rapport and find those commonality points with the person that you're trying to have a conversation with before taking them through the whole process. That's what I found, the two things that I found that have helped the most.
Guys, listen to what Justin just said. He's actually just talking about some soft skills and delivery. It's all good and well and good going through a whole process of sales and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have permission to go to those points, it doesn't matter how good you are. So listen to what he's saying here, because he's an implementer and he's done it. He uses his FFF, the feel, felt, found model, in building rapport, but it also gets the other permission point in commonality. Now, they're big rock activities, and you can't over practice those sorts of things. All right. Well, you are an achiever. I'd like to actually talk about this now. Since I've been working together, and since we've been seeing your, as I said, your rise to fame, what's some of the numbers and achievements you've achieved in sales or percentages and so forth? This is the time not to be humble, my friend. This is let's tell everyone what you've done, because you've done some really pretty special things.
All right. So within my first month, when I moved to the Mornington Club, it went from having about 70 something sales for that month to 121. So it almost doubled. So it was a pretty big stepping stone for me, and a pretty big opening show, that's for sure. But other than that, we've consistently kept triple figures for the months following up as well. So we've been on point.
Okay. Guys, listen to what he just said. Nearly doubled his sales and is consistently breaking his targets on a monthly basis. So let's talk about that. So what have you done a little bit differently to help you achieve that? What are some of the things that maybe the guys listening say, well, I'd like to do that too. What have you implemented to help you do that, to maybe manage your team or to implement a skill set?
All right. So we did a lot of training with using call matrices. Also,
tell the guys what a call matrix is. Why?
Yeah, the matrix is a structure of voicemails that you can leave for potential leads that gives you an idea of how to leave a voicemail. So you're not just kind of saying, oh, just give me a call back. Whenever you have a goal, you address what they're like inquiring about, and also like prove that you've listened to them as well. It also tells you when to send SMSs, emails, and pretty much gives you a guide of how many times you're meant to call them, and gives you a structure which you're meant to follow. So I found that people have, or some of the staff have been a bit lost with calls and when to make them, and like when they need to make them and how many they need to make, things like that. And I found Call Matrix definitely helps a lot with that one there, and gives them a sense of direction and an idea of where to go, so they're not having that doubt in their mind of when I should call them and how many times I should call them as well.
Okay, you actually put that into practice very quickly, and the call to contact and contact to booked appointment. And I must say, guys, this young man knows his numbers very, very well. It went through and put some KPIs, some BAMs, and he's always driving towards them. So that's a big one, the call matrix. It is a skill set, and it's a process, and then it's the delivery. So you're combining two things there. So it's really awesome. So how's it helped you personally? By being in the SAC, and I may also professionally.
All right. So I've had access to so many tools that I normally wouldn't have access to. So the call matrix is one of them. So I normally wouldn't have had something like that, or I haven't had that in the past. And it's something that's definitely helped the business for sure. Also, I have the ability to network with several like-minded individuals who I can always reach out to and ask questions if Steve's not available, which he always is though. So it's always something that I can do as well.
Terrific. Well, you certainly follow through with everything you say you're going to do. And again, I'll say it again, I said it earlier, you show up and you do. We only learn by doing, and you've done it in abundance. So would you recommend anyone to join the Sales Authority Club? And if so, why?
I would recommend that lots of people join the Sales Authority Club, just because it really helps you pinpoint on where you're specifically like lacking in sales, because everyone has their parts where they're really good at sales and parts where they're not so good. So it really helps identify those points, and there's no point in working on what you're already good at rather than working on what you're a bit poorer at as well. So I do recommend it, that's for sure.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Now, you've had some big wins along the way. I know doubling your sales target and so forth, but I'd love to be able to tell everybody, what's your biggest win in sales or in business that you're most proud of?
Okay. I think my biggest win was my first month at the club, or not at the club, with the Sales Authority Club. When we started implementing everything and started it going, I remember I hit my target from that month on the get-go. So for me, that was my biggest win.
Terrific. And how did you achieve that? What did you do differently?
Oh, right. So I requested for the matrix. That was the first thing I asked Steve for to help me out. So the matrix was a huge one that guided me in terms of my calls and who, like, when I should contact them, when I should email them, SMS, and what to say in those respective communications as well. So that was the main thing.
So call to contact to make sure that the people are compelled to give you a call back. So you're talking to more people, see more people, make more sales, All right, now,
for sure.
Let's go on a bit of a journey. We got Justin now. And by the way, it's detected a young buck there, but how old are you, mate?
I'm 28.
Nearly
I'm 29 in 2 days.
In a few days, yes.
In 2 days.
So if you went and said, right now, you're going to talk to your younger self. Yep. You go back to Justin a number of years ago. And I'd love you to say, what advice would you give to your younger self to either avoid a problem or to do something to get rid of a problem that might happen, or maybe to fast track their success? What would be some advice you would give to young Justin to help him out?
I would say be more confident in myself to try new things. Because when I was younger, I was very reserved and didn't try a lot of different things, or didn't put myself out of my comfort zone very often. Whereas now I've done that a fair bit, that's for sure, and it's helped my growth significantly. So that would be my number one recommendation for myself.
Love it. Love it. Take the opportunity and go for it. And I must say that when the doors open for you with your opportunity with you're into a very large club, you did take it with both hands and just kick some goals. So you're certainly walking the talk there, and right, and you've had a significant success, guys. This guy, he's, as he said, he doesn't spruik himself here, but he's had significant success, regularly making targets, budgets, new team members, empowering them on a regular basis, and going over and above to make sure his team is successful, and even in all the lockdowns, continually having growth in his business. And before he came there, it wasn't. So I'll wave the flag. I'm a big fan. Right?
Thank you for the kind words.
Okay, now I'd like to take it another step here. What's one success strategy in general? Doesn't have to be in sales, it could be in business or personal. What's one success strategy that works best for you?
Always having a plan. So making sure you always have something that you're working towards, or you know what you're going to be doing on a certain day. So if something goes wrong, you always have something you can do to fix that. And always making sure like you're on top of your plan and keeping monitored what you need to do and what you need to have done throughout the day.
Guys, listen to what he just said. Having a plan of action, what your day looks like. And we've got a process, haven't we, mate, where we set out the plan the night before, and then you start what's the outcome, and then break it up into sections as you go throughout the day. You tick a few things off and say, what was the outcome? Sometimes you spend a lot of time without and not getting an outcome. And if you have a little plan, it's written, it's real. So guys, listen to what Justin's saying. And in all my days of helping large and small companies, CEOs and sales professionals, the ones that have a schedule and a plan and they have a routine are the ones that are the most successful. And it's no wonder you're kicking some goals, mate. So I'd like to now go and ask you a question here with regard to sales in particular. What's one thing that a sales professional must do? That it's a thing that they must do, and why? And one thing they must never do, just don't do, and why? So from your perspective, even though you do work with a lot of your team members and also yourself, but you're still on the ground doing the damage, what's a must do?
Always look to improve, that's for sure. Because there's always something that you could have done better, or something that you need to work on as well to develop. Because sales is one of those things where it's a never-ending pursuit, and mastery is like something that's never, like, it's always out of grasp. So yeah, always look to improve is my thing that they must do.
Love it. Every sales professional I've ever met, we give them a process, we say it's a square, and all of a sudden it becomes a hexagon, and then it becomes a circle and a spiral, and the spirals down. So always looking at sharpening the axe, always adding to the repertoire and making yourself better. I love that. All right. Now, obviously the opposite of that, not improving, would be something not to do. But what's another thing that we should avoid? What's something that a salesperson should never do or should avoid doing?
I think they should always avoid
or
just
what
thinking,
shouldn't they do?
Well, they should always avoid thinking that they are above other people, or it's good to be competitive within sales, but always having an open perspective towards the opinion of other people as well.
Nice. We are a multiple of the people surround us. So if we're actually connected to more people that know, like, and trust you, opportunity will open to you, but also it feels good too. So That's good advice from a wise man. Love it. Okay. We're getting close to our wrap up here. So I don't like going to get something that's, I'd like to get an idea from you. I'd like to know one sales strategy. It's a strategy, how to make some sales that works absolutely brilliant for you. And give us an example of that.
So the best strategy I would recommend would be the best thing that I would recommend would be to always have an action plan prepared for the person arriving, because it makes it more individualized for the person and makes it feel like they're not just a number, and they're a regular person with their own values and interests. So it's not like they're just a number and they're just another dollar sign for the business.
Explain what an action plan is, mate, because this is gold. This works brilliantly, guys. It increases show rates and makes people connect with you much. It's a faster way of connecting with people. So tell them how an action plan works. What do they do? When do they do it? That sort of stuff. What do they actually complete?
All right. So in regards to my business here as well, when we do like a call for a potential lead that's interested in the club, we go through our prompts and things like that and find out what they're interested in as well. We also offer them some information that they might not have known, and offer them to have it ready for them as they arrive, so they have something to pick up when they're here. So some information that they normally wouldn't have gotten is ready for them when they come.
That's right. You use a process called the inking, isn't it? I never knew that. And you say, how about I put it into an action plan? And I will give that to you when you turn up. So they're not just turning up to be sold something, they're going to get something. And it's using the process of reciprocity. This is a wonderful way of increasing the show rate, but more importantly, they're coming in and they're feeling special, aren't they? They say, oh, he's got his name, Justin's name on it. And I got this ready for you. You can say, I got it ready for you on the confirmation call. So that's a brilliant thing to bring up, because it does make a big difference. Again, see more people, make more sales. All right, I'm not going to go the other way. We talked about lots of results, and I find that we learn more from the mistakes and challenges that we've had in our careers. Just before we came on, I told you something that I made a mistake, and it gave me a lesson. So I'd love to know, in your career over the period of time, what's the biggest challenge or setback that you've experienced so far specifically? And what lesson did you learn?
I think when I first started, I believed that all that mattered was making as many contacts as possible. And I think that was my biggest mistake, because I was more eager to make contacts than to engage in the contacts themselves. So I think that was my biggest mistake in terms of sales. When I started to acknowledge that they were a person and get to know them a bit better, I would find that a lot of them, or maybe I wouldn't have made as many contacts in that day, but a lot of them would show up and join up because they were there to see me rather than there to check out equipment or anything along those lines.
Love it. This is what Justin just said. They're coming to see him, because they're not going to come and see the club or the studio. Look, they're going to see that by way of, as a default, but they're going to talk to an expert. They're going to, not buying the club, bring $5 million, you can get it. But I think it's perfect. Lots of contacts, just having a chat, booking appointments. No, let's have a conversation that's meaningful, that's of value. So they come in to meet a human being. And you are a doer, so you would have done a ton of contacts, but when you then learn a skill set, the lesson was less contacts with more quality made a difference. Love it. So my last question to you before we find out what you're going to be doing for the next 2 or 3 years is, for all the guys and girls that are listening, either veterans or let's say brand new people, little newbies, all that enthusiasm, what's one big rock advice you could give them from someone that has had significant success, is really always wanting to sharpen his axe? So if you were to say that to a young man or woman or even a veteran, some advice to be successful and have the freedom that a great career can give them, what would it be?
I would say ask a colleague where they think they could improve on as well, because it's very easy to get wrapped up in yourself and hard to take a step back. So it's easy when someone else is taking a step back for you and looking where you could improve on.
Justin, you are an incredibly wise man for a man of nearly 30 years of age. Wow. Guys, listen to that. Ask a colleague. Don't just say, oh, I need to do this, I. Say, well, what do you think I need? And don't give them pushback. Oh, but, because that's not a word in the English language. But. Don't justify it. Just say, thanks for the feedback. And what could I do to change that, Justin? And he might give you some of his experience. Wise words, my friend. So what's the next couple of years looking like for you? What's your plans and what's some of your goals?
I'm not sure. I like to live my life in little blocks. So right now it's kind of like, just get through the pandemic. That's my first little block, and then figure out what it is. But ideally I want to own my own place. So that's the next 2 years.
Is that your own house or is that your
Yes.
own business?
House.
Terrific. All right. Well, you know what? You're in the best position to do that with in the area of sales and in an organization that's going somewhere. So I'm sure you're going to kick some goals, and, you know, and anything I can do for you, you just let me know. So if people would like to get in contact with you, mate, what's the easiest way of maybe having a chin wag with you, maybe having a conversation, maybe sharing some ideas? What would be the best way of getting in contact with Justin?
All right, you can always give us a call at the club at Core 24 at Mornington, or if you're a member of the SAC, you can always just shoot me a message, because I'll be on the Facebook group there as well. I'm an open book. I'm always keen for a chat, so feel free to reach out.
Terrific. Now, what's the phone number at the club?
All right, so it's just 5975 6000.
Say that nice and slowly and put the prefix in front of it, because some of the people are going to listen to this from another state, you see.
All right, so it's just +61 5975 6000.
Is there a 3 there?
No.
There's no 3 for Melbourne.
Oh, it might be a 3. I'm not 100% sure for the prefix.
The +61 if you're international. So a lot of the guys.
Maybe it's 03 5975 6000.
That'll be it.
That's the one.
That's the Mornington Core Health and Fitness Club. Justin is the man to talk to in the SAC. Reach out and say good day and ask, maybe have a chin wag on the phone. I'm sure you shared the details there, but you always grow when you mix with people that are like-minded that can share. Well, Justin, it's been delightful talking to you. So it's no wonder you've had the success that you're having. I really appreciate your time. It's a tough time for you guys, but just all week you've been doing training, you've been going in and doing implementation program again and doing other things. You're continually sharpening your axe and helping your team members do that. So hopefully you're going to open on Friday and keep the goals.
Fingers crossed.
So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
No worries. My pleasure.
Hey guys, how good was that? Isn't Justin a humble man, but he's got a significant amount of success, and listen to his wise words. Scrub through what he said to you today. Success doesn't come to people just by being just in the right place. It's what you do. And Justin has just told you all of the things that he's done that are golden nuggets that he's actually utilized with himself and his team now to get lots of success. So reach out, connect, make sure that you have a chin wag, and then share some of your great successes as well. Well, we're going to be having another person in the Success SAC shortly, and you'll get some more golden nuggets. But thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.